Well, let's go and ask the man with a good sense of what's going on the ground. Anthony Landahl from Equilibria Finance joins us here in the studio. Anthony, welcome back to the program. It's good to see you.
Nice to be here.
Prices are ripping high. We've seen it across the country. Is it denting demand?
Well, those quarterly figures that you referred to, we saw an 18-year high of 5.7% nationally. And in Sydney, prices increased 8% in that quarter. So is it subduing demand? Not really. What we're probably seeing is a shift in demand. There's been a lot of first home buyers that have entered the market. Cashed up first home buyers, low interest rate environment has really driven that. But what we're actually starting to see is a bit of a shift towards investor behaviour and also construction. Investor loans are up about close to 10% since the beginning of this year in terms of demand for that area. But we're probably seeing a little bit of subdued behaviour from first home buyers, with affordability becoming a bit of an issue for them.
Do you think there was anything in the budget that stood out to you as being helpful to that situation?
Yeah, the initiatives in the budget were certainly around demand, as distinct from supply side. So the initiatives really are only going to keep driving economic recovery, I guess, and demand in the housing market. I mean, the three key initiatives from a housing perspective was the 2% deposit for single parents, and obviously one of the biggest challenges is the deposit. So that's going to help those home buyers get in the market. There's an expansion of the first home loan deposit scheme, which has been a pretty successful program, which is enabling first home buyers to get in with as little as a 5% deposit, again overcoming that deposit. And there was also, interestingly, an expansion of the first home super saver scheme, which has sort of had a mixed take-up, but that threshold's increased by up to $50,000 of additional savings in super that can be drawn out to go towards your deposit. So all those things are going to help, only going to help stimulate demand.
You mentioned that single parents supplement there, the 2%, so 50 times leverage is what essentially it is. Regardless of what your views is, whether that's safe or not, do you think there'll be a big take-up from it in the community?
I think there's two elements to that. I think there's certainly going to be a lot of interest. We've already seen a lot of interest from people who have been struggling to save, in truth, but they might be on a well-paid job. They might be paying rent, and they might be paying rental amounts that are actually maybe more than the home loan repayments ultimately. So the big challenge is going to be, for them, has been building a deposit. So what we'll see from the providers is they're going to be buffers around serviceability to show that they're actually able to service that loan. The other thing is it's underwritten by the government. So that gives the providers some level of security around that. So I think there's going to be a lot of interest. It's going to come down to what the legislation actually enables and how easy it is for those people to actually qualify. And we're still waiting on that detail.
Do you think the government missed the trick when it comes to putting anything in terms of the supply side?
Look, I think from a supply perspective, I think we've probably got almost an oversupply of units and developments in the city areas. There's been, obviously, with the closed borders, that's been impacting foreign investment. University students aren't out here. So from a supply perspective, in the private sector anyway, we've probably got enough supply of units. In terms of housing, construction is booming. It's probably more the social housing initiatives that the Labor government, I suppose, raised are some areas where maybe they could focus. But from the supply side, look, construction's booming. There's probably an oversupply of units in capital cities. So the focus is on economic recovery, and that was reflected in what they've focused on there.
You mentioned the uptick, and we're seeing the demand for construction finance. Greasing the wheels of the system, though, is there still the readily available ability to get credit if you want it in that space?
Getting credit is probably the biggest challenge at the moment. Time frames have blown out. There's lead times in some providers 30, 40 days to access credit. A lot of providers aren't doing fully assessed approvals, which means that you're wanting to give comfort to home buyers about getting funds to purchase a home. So one of the biggest challenges is navigating the credit environment. There's additional complexities, there's slow turnaround times, and with these responsible lending laws as they are today, there's endless verifications of things ultimately that are not overly substantial to the client once they actually get their home loan. So access to credit is still problematical, particularly tough with the majors.
It doesn't look like the responsible lending laws will go and be repealed anytime soon. Are lenders managing to go and get to the point where they can go and try and cut down the time that it gets through all those questionings?
Yeah, the open banking's helped. Comprehensive credit reporting's helped, which is bringing down a lot of the paperwork. But just the sheer volumes, the lenders weren't prepared for. So a lot of them now are changing their assessment processes, and they're essentially just buying on people who have a signed contract and have purchased a home. Now, for those who are trying to get in the market, it makes it a tough environment to navigate. We're looking at a lot of, I suppose, what you call second-tier lenders who might still be assessing the approvals in quick turnaround times, so that our buyers can go to auctions with some comfort around the finance they're able to get.
So finance is still not the most readily available thing to go and get at this stage, despite what some people suggest on social media. Anthony, it's always fantastic to go and chat. Enjoy the rest of the day.
No worries.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Anthony.